drive on him.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor.
They try to save with Horford. Unbelievable. Boston first to the floor. So good. Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
Welcome in, first to the floor, Ben Vallis here, along with Wayne Spooney and Jake Eisenberg. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Tonight, we're ranking/drafting the best games of the entire Celtics regular season. Spooney, Jake, I know you guys have been hanging out for this one. How you guys doing?
Hey, I'm excited. This is perfect timing, I think. Wizards game yesterday, really fun. I'm not sure it's going to make it in to this list, but who knows? Maybe yesterday's game, Baylor Shireman's behind the pack pass, tingled you in the right way that it slides in tonight. But I think this is the right time to a Celtics win list.
How dare you denigrate any win over Alex All-Star, Superstar, Alex Sarr, man. Like, that team is loaded with talent, primarily Alex Sarr. Yeah, not a lot of takeaways from that one. Extraordinarily forgettable. But, hey, we beat the shit out of them, and I will always enjoy that. You know, I remember the Patino days, baby. Like, wins, like, they never get boring.
Yeah, this word is not really in my vocabulary, but this was a drubbing. It's like I walked away from this game thinking, I've never thought the word drubbing ever, but we drubbed the shit out of the Wizards in this game. 120-94. No one's line really jumping off the page. I will admit to like sneak watching this game with my phone on my lap while it works, so my analysis is going to be typically poor. But 7 guys in double-digit scoring, and for me, it's like we're looking for little micro improvements. We talk about that concept at this time of year. Sam Hauser, I think, is just like so back, and didn't look like it was going to happen for the longest time. And I feel like he's like fully all the way there. I don't know. You guys watch this one a little bit more closely than me. Am I on the mark there?
I feel like he's been back for a while. I don't know. I think maybe because I think you get so used to, and I get so used to, like, when he goes on these stretches, it just feels like any time he gets a clean look, it's 100% chance of going in. So any miss maybe feels like 3 misses, but he is just adding another 40% three-point season to his resume in a 9-year-long sample size. The fact that he still has not had a season in his life that's been recorded under 40% from 3. He even had a little Samelo moment for you yesterday, Ben, driving baseline.
I only heard that, unfortunately, but I could picture it perfectly.
It was beautiful. And the rebounding, the body looking good. No, Sammy's looking good. But yeah, my big takeaway from this late stretch in the season is the big dog. Luke Cornett, let's go.
9 offensive rebounds. 9. Not a great showing from my guy Alex Sarr, who is getting absolutely destroyed by Luke Cornett on the glass. Yeah, he looked pretty rough. Yeah, I know, shocking. And it's interesting. Like, I think the biggest highlight for this game for me is just like the ecosystem that the Celtics have for their role players that gets them to play winning basketball compared to whatever the hell it is the Wizards are doing with all this lottery talent. Like, you know, all these guys are top picks, kind of, like Carrington, Sarr, Jordan Poole, you know, has had big moments in the NBA. Lots of dudes didn't play for them. But then you have like Baylor Shireman comes in and looks like an NBA player. Sam Hauser looks like an all-star against these guys. Pritchard looks like an all-star. Cornette's killing them. And it's like the Celtics ecosystem just like energizes them, and it just makes them like look so much better than maybe their talent. Whereas the Wizards, it's the complete opposite effect, where they're like these high drafted guys, and it's just the worst defense I've ever seen in the NBA, maybe.
Dude, it was a brutal showing in that first half, shooting wise for the Wizards as well.
Yeah,
it did kind of feel like a culture win. It was like there is nothing for anyone to play for in this game, and it's like we're going to break our single season record for offensive rebounds. Everyone's playing like as hard as they possibly can out there. that felt like a Missoula ball culture W for the fellas at this point in the season. It's like, why do you care this much about the Wizards? And the Stay Ready group stays ready.
And then just juxtaposed with Marcus Smart, who's found his way to Washington, sitting on the bench, getting into it with a fan, which is obviously independent of anything going on with the Wizards, but just the contrast of what it's like to be on the Wizards versus what it's like to be on the Celtics, and Marcus Smart obviously having been on both sides. You just hate to see it, like genuinely, like our guy, Marcus Smart, down on that level, unfortunately, but hopefully he finds his way back on a solid team sometime soon. Baylor Shireman out there, like speaking of culture wins, like our rookie just out there late, diamond people up. It did lead me to want to ask this question, guys. Like we've set up quite a lot of infrastructure on Jordan Walshy Island. I think the delivery ships have stopped passing us by recently. The infrastructure has died down. We've lost power.
Exclusively.
Yeah, we're planting potatoes, a la Matt Damon in The Martian, and not bearing any potato fruit, unfortunately. So my question is, if you had to choose between Baylor Shireman and Jordan Walsh at this point in time, which way are we going?
I think it's possible that if you start looking for Jake to help you with the sowing and the reaping of the potatoes, that you may not find him, and you may see him off in the distance rowing on a very poorly crafted raft on the way to dinghy on the way to Baylor Shireman Island.
Yes.
Jordan Walsh, just take a slither of Baylor Shireman confidence and inject it into your soul. Every time Walsh is out there, he just looks so timid and tentative, and I still will hold out hope because I don't feel like I've seen enough. But at some point, you got to take your destiny into your own hands. And every second that Baylor's out there, he's like trying to make something happen, whether it's on the glass, whether it's a saucy pass, getting shots up, trying to do stuff. He's like incredibly active. And I'm like, Walsh, man, I don't care how many minutes you're out there. You got to just be aggressive. You're at the top of the key, matched up with, I don't know who is on this Washington Wizards team. You don't have to swing the ball to Xavier Tillman, brother. Like, that's not a better option. Now Xavier Tillman's getting to a fake handoff from the wing. It's like, you're allowed to do whatever you want out there. There's 2 minutes left in April against the Wizards. Please be aggressive. It's not looking good for our boy Walshy currently, I would say, but I'm still holding out hope. Haven't seen enough. But give me Baylor all day long.
I give me those potatoes, Ben. I'll subsist exclusively on potatoes. Yeah, I'll drink salt water. I'll figure it out. We'll fucking boil that shit and condense it, and we'll be just fine, because Jordan Walsh is 4 years younger than Baylor Shireman. If Baylor Shireman was 20, 21 in the NBA, he was at friggin' South Dakota State when he was Jordan Walsh's age, all right? So there's plenty of time for Walshy. Baylor is making me look stupid. I've allied with Shireman Island. We are friendly neighbors now. We're no longer enemies. We're no longer
no tariffs.
No tariffs. We got the best free trade agreement you've ever seen with Shireman Island. But I'm not leaving Walsh Island. I'm too heavily invested. I don't care how I'm riding it to the bottom. I'm riding it until we're in China shooting hoops there, baby. So give me Jordan Walsh. He'll be fine. It's good.
All right.
That's the healthy takeaway. We have them both, an allied conglomerate of Pacific Islands working together, free trade agreements, etc.
Forming a NATO of fringe Celtics bench players.
End of the bench NATO, absolutely. All right, we should definitely leave it there. We've got people in the comments saying Jordan Walsh sucks. We don't like to put that kind of vibe out there, so we're going to move on. So we're drafting, really, for lack of a better format of going through the best wins of the season, drafting semi-Bill Simmons style, the best games of the Celtics regular season. There are 4 more, I believe. I almost doubt, unless we get a Peyton Pritchard 50-piece, that any of these remaining 4 games are going to make their way into these draft rankings, but we can always circle back with the best moments of the last 4 games of the season. But we are, of course, having to come up with a draft order for this prestigious annual draft, and we have this draft order pre-generated in video format right here, thanks to a website that is blocked out by a StreamYard graphic. But here we go. So we've got Spoonie. Oh, geez, I didn't even read that in time. Did you guys catch that? I believe Spoonie has the first pick. I have the second pick, and Jake has the third pick in the draft. And of course, having
Blank
struggled with
has the first
Snake.
overall pick.
Yeah, good work, Blank. We're just going to play it straight up draft.
Oh,
None of this
linear.
Snake stuff. Linear all day.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so Spoonie, you have the first pick.
Look, I tanked for this draft pick, so I deserve it, all right, boys.
We've noticed.
I think, yeah, ouch. I think this one, to me, this is pretty easy. I think there's a pretty clear number one, and that is Lakers over the Celtics.
Damn.
111-101, March 8th. Tons of hype. Oh, Luka's a Laker now. Oh, this is incredible. We dominated them except for that blip in the fourth quarter that I'm pretending didn't happen. LeBron James got injured, even though he was back immediately. Just happened to leave a game they were losing. Shocker. Held him to 13 points in the third quarter. Luka, game low, -19. Tatum with a 40, 12, and 8. JB 31 and 6 with 3 steals. Great defense on Luka. This is my number one. Easy with a bullet.
Okay, great choice. I will say the fact that you've put in Lakers highlights into this
It's
thing,
just the NBA highlights.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
What is he doing? At least you had the highlight of Horford bullying LeBron James down low in the post and then hitting him with a little stare down. That was maybe the most important highlight of the game. Again, LeBron James to the rim. Spoon, he gets this off my
Just
screen.
lazy.
You're the guy. You're the guy that hates LeBron, and you're putting him onto our freaking
There's
screen
Hauser.
here.
Bang.
Goodness gracious! And it's a Hauser brick into what is happening? What is going on?
I just grabbed the NBA highlights. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't have time.
Unbelievable. But yeah, like the hype coming in, Lakers were hot, best defense in the league. We literally had a 2-week news cycle about the Luka trade and how LeBron is rejuvenated and Luka's going to make the finals and they've saved the next decade of Lakers basketball. They came into Boston and Jaylen Brown made Luka Doncic look exactly the same as he looked in the NBA finals. It was like a carbon mirror image of the finals. You had Tatum 40-piece. It was Al Horford locking down Luka, switching on to LeBron, showing him. And then LeBron allegedly groin injury as the game was slipping away, which hard to believe. But solid choice at number one here, Spoonie.
Yeah, it's a solid choice. Important to call out as well, no Kristaps Porzingis in this one. A common trend throughout these rankings, unfortunately, KP missing a lot of critical games, no problem for the Celtics. And yeah, the Jays combining for 71 points against the Lakers, on basically the eve of, or close to the eve of, the Celtic City documentary coming out as well. So like good times for a renewed Celtics-Lakers rivalry, and in our favor, a Celtics dominance over the Lakers as well. You'll have to see it.
Just one thing you reminded me, Ben, and it's important that we keep nailing this point just holistically as Celtics fans, is that watching Celtic City, I forget which episode it was, but it was the episode where the Lakers had the balloons ready to go in the rafters. They had everybody prepped in the Lakers, in the forum of how to celebrate once they won their first NBA title. The Lakers organization was communicating that this is going to be our first title. No mention of the Minneapolis Lakers titles. So I just want the record to state to everybody that the Lakers themselves did not count those titles. Right. It's important for everybody to remember that when arguing with people out in the world.
Yeah, massive revisionist history with the Lakers, but I wouldn't expect anything less. It's absolutely the game of the year, I think. And yeah, important to call out, like you said, Jake, like the Lakers were like on a roll at this point of the season. This was a massively hyped up matchup and the Celtics just dominated them through and through. So good to see. I believe I have the second pick. I'm going with Cavs at Celtics as I mute this. Cavs at Celtics. This is the Cavs coming into Boston. This is an IST game. They are 15-0 at this point, and the Celtics hand them their first loss of the season. The Celtics led by as many as 21 in this game, only won by 3. Classic Cavs-Celtics formula this season, where we tend to go up big and then either win closely or lose closely at the end of this game. But this is up there for me because it's just one of those games, one of those times throughout the season where the Celtics reminded the league that they're still the champs. Cavs come in hot. Celtics say, fuck you, we've got this. And I don't want to say dominate them, but they did win twice. They went up huge, Cavs came back, and then the Celtics got away with the win. So there's that sort of win twice satisfaction, optimist satisfaction walking away from this one, guys.
Yeah, we are 2 games, 2 for 2 on monster Al Horford games. He was incredible in the Lakers game, and he was amazing in this game. 20-7, 3 blocks, game high plus 18. Big Al. And another, like, me and Jake were talking before we started, like, this going through these made us realize how many absurd games Tatum's had. 33, 12, and 7 in this one. No big deal. Great win. Ended their huge 15-game winning streak to start the season. So just a beautiful win. This was my number 2 as well, Ben.
Just need to state for the record, no Max Strus in this game. So, if...
clear. It doesn't count.
Very important.
No Kristaps Porzingis. Again, well noted from Ben that he is missing from a fair few of these games that we'll be looking at here. But, yeah, coming in 15-0. This was, really before we realized what the Cavs were going to do in the regular season. It was like, this is a cute little 15-0 start. You come into the champ's house, and we're reminding everybody that, like, this is not the matchup for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And maybe the highlight of the game, Georges Niang, sadly no longer on the Cavaliers, but end of the third quarter, Tatum has ISO'd, hits him with a little move, maybe a little forearm. The mini bus goes flying with a flop, and Tatum hits him with a get the fuck out of here as the Celtics kind of cruise to a nice NBA Cup, very important at the time, victory here. All right, so I think I'm up, and this strategy is completely different now that there's no snake draft. It's really changing the way that I'm gonna have to approach this here. But opening night, harken your mind back here. All off season, we've heard Jason Tatum is a super team merchant, and first play of the game, pull up 3, Karl Anthony Townsend drop, knocks it down. And, like, it was just a release that I think that all of Celtics Nation felt during this game was that I'm pretty confident that Jason Tatum's really good. But after 3 or 4 months of everybody telling me he's not, I'd really like him to remind both everybody and myself that he's incredible. And he just went absolutely nuclear in this game. 37 points on what felt like 20 shots. It was a pure masterclass. And not only that, we heard all offseason that the Knicks had been designed specifically to slow down this Celtics team. And Tatum, Jalen, everybody exploited every possible matchup advantage immediately and threw their entire offseason in the tank.
Yeah, so consistent trends that we will uncover throughout this game ranking is we touched on the KP absences. Jason Tatum like attacking bigs in drop, huge trend throughout the regular season, but specifically Jason Tatum attacking the Knicks bigs in drop, their wings on switches, basically everyone on the Knicks roster, huge trend throughout the season. And this is not the only Knicks game that's going to appear in the rankings. Add to that, just the, I guess the flow-on effect of the bing bong Knicks fan confidence. Any opportunity you have to defeat the Knicks and just silence their confidence as a fan base is very titillating indeed.
Yeah, Cat had 12 points, so just a monster showing in his first game as a Knick. Yeah, this was a complete ass whooping. 132 on them, which is like, yeah, you guys absolutely cannot guard us. You did all these things to bring in all these wings who can guard the Jays, and all we do is just attack your new center you just traded for, and he doesn't punish us on the other end. So the Knicks are in trouble. It started in game 1. Yeah, the Tatum making jump shots thing was so releasing. It was one of the best, like, oh, yes, he can actually shoot. This was just a weird anomaly. We're good. And anytime you beat the Knicks, I mean, I even have a Philly game on here just because, like, it just means more to beat these teams because they, they think they can hang with us, and then Tatum shows them they can't.
Yeah.
So was this ring night Knicks victory, or was this the one later in the season? I just need to adjust my draft board here. Okay.
This is ring night, and it is topical. Like the Boston Celtics like social media admin team. You know how they do those videos of like the guys walking into practice or into a game and they ask them funny questions or whatever.
Yeah.
They did like what was your favorite moment of the season? And Tatum said ring night. Derek White said ring night. I may be forgetting someone else that said ring night. And I don't know if that's emblematic of the overall season, but it was like, okay, game 1, we proved that we're probably still the best team in the league and that anybody beating us is going to be really, really hard. And the rest of the season has kind of just been like constant reminders of that. But at the same time, it's kind of been like, we know who this team is. They're the favorites for a reason, and let's get to the playoffs. So I think it's good to actually do this and remember that Spoonie said it at the beginning, the Patino era. And if you're watching the Celtic City, sometimes you may be wandering through the NBA desert for a prolonged period. So it's important to enjoy the good times and, live in the moment and reminisce a little bit on another probably 60-win season for defending champs.
Yes, sir. Speaking of the defending champs, we finally got the monkey off our back. The very large, what is he, Slovenian? No, that's Lucas Slovenian.
Serbian.
Serbian, thank you. And it was one of the S ones. Serbian monkey off our back. We hadn't beat Jokic in like 2 years. Then he comes into Boston, I think March 2nd, 110, 103. He's finally playing because I think he did not play in the first game we beat him this season. Jaylen Brown, team high 22, 8 dimes, 5 boards, just a all-around team performance. Al with another 19 points. I'm sensing a trend in my games that they all include big Al Horford performances. 8 boards. Jokic Murray led the team in scoring, so like we did a really solid job on Jokic. I know he was like kind of banged up or whatever, but handled the Nuggets. They had kind of a fake comeback like the Cavs did, but we ended up winning by 7 and was just a pretty dominant performance from start to end against the Nugs. So that's my second pick.
Ben, I think you got to have the floor here.
I think there was a Denver Cup drought, right? Plaguing this show, plaguing me personally for a few years there. So to get the Denver Cup back this year was hugely important. I believe we won the game in Denver as well. Please don't correct me if I'm wrong.
No Jokic.
It's still a Denver Cup sweep in my world.
W's a W.
So, yeah, absolutely. And even though Denver were down some personnel, I believe in this game, or still had quite a limited Jamal Murray at this point in the season. You go up against the best player in the world, one of the best players of all time, evidently, and win after struggling to do so for years prior. That's a massive victory, and I think a bit of a championship flex by these Celtics as well. Like they've had to pick their spots this year in terms of exhibiting their sort of ongoing championship pedigree and their ability to repeat. And I think this was one of those moments where they kind of got up for this game and tried to send a message back to the NBA sphere that they're still up for these kinds of games.
Yeah, I feel like this one kind of slid under the radar a little bit because the Nuggets haven't been quite as dominant, but the Nuggets emptied the clip to try and win this game. Christian Brown, I do it every time. Christian Brown. Spell your name a little more.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Please.
It's stupid.
Yes.
You're killing me.
Brown. No, it's not Braun.
Come
You're
on,
Braun.
man. I'm a simple man reading names on a screen here. I can't be tasked with reading them correctly. 47 minutes. Michael Porter played 40. Jamal Murray 39.5. Jokic played 39.5. Westbrook played 35 plus. They tried to get a win here because in the midst of a slide, and the Celtics just team W. Even Torrey Craig got out there for 6 minutes and was able to help the Celtics deliver a W. And I think Al Horford, who had the play of the game, he ended up in isolation with Jamal Murray, got a steal and was rewarded on the other end. And we were gifted the beautiful moment in the post game where Jaylen was like, Al Horford's supposed to dunk that one, but he's got 5 kids, so we let him off the hook.
That's right.
It's good old-fashioned vibes.
All right, we got to get to an ad read before we move on. We got to pay the bills here, courtesy of our friends over at CLNS. Spoonie, have you got prize picks or game time this week?
I've got game time.
A little out of sorts. All right, game time. Let's do it.
All right. There's nothing better than NBA basketball. A few weeks ago, I took a flight back out to Boston, had a few too many drinks, and got to watch my favorite Celtic, Baylor Shireman, tear apart the Nets. And you know how I got in the door? Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It was super easy. I just hopped on the app, searched for the game or the team, and then you're shown all the available tickets and all the best deals right on your phone. The curated deals make it even easier to find the best seats at the best prices. And maybe my favorite feature is the seat view. It'll show you exactly what it looks like from any seat before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, Create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Shout out Game Time. Shout out the CLNS Media Network for presenting the First to the Floor YouTube show audio podcast, to which you should subscribe. Subscribe to the audio show. It's obviously available on all audio platforms if you do not prefer to consume your podcast via a visual medium, which for this one you absolutely should, because we're playing sick Celtics highlights all episode. We're trying to pipe in the audio for all of those games as well. So if you're listening later, hopefully that's beneficial to you. Good work on the ad read, Spoonie. I believe it is my pick. I am going, as I struggle to pull up the stats for this one, so prepared. Celtics at Knicks, February 8, another drubbing. Final score 131-104. Jason Tatum scores a lot of points.
Here's Tatum. Great in and out dribble. Oh! He set off the smoke detector.
A little screen and roll. Cornette does a good job taking the right angle. That in and out dribble to the combo.
Tatum on the bounce. Pulls it back. Oh. Achua needs an MRI on those ankles right now. I mean, he buckled.
Points in 5 minutes. Much needed.
Tatum with another three. This one falls. 9 consecutive games. Here's White back out to Tatum. Cornette with the ball screen. Tatum gets downhill and punched it home.
So we mentioned the trends. We mentioned like very specifically Jason Tatum attacking the Knicks bigs, the Knicks wings, the Knicks everyone. He had Precious Achua, the big sneeze, in hell in this one. Had him backpedaling on skates. At one point, he dunked on him on the first Celtics offensive possession of the game. And just total beatdown of the Knicks in Madison Square Garden with all the celebrities courtside. Just chef's kiss. Love to see it.
Absolutely dominant performance, man. Like the highlights, he has so many highlights against the Knicks this year. It's just like 4 games of, or I guess 3 games of him just destroying them. Like that inside out dribble on Cat, he just looks so helpless. He looks like me trying to stay in front of Jason Tatum. Like, which way did he go? I don't even know where he is anymore. So it's beautiful. And for whatever reason, the jumper is going in against the Knicks, probably because they're wide open and he's walking into wide open threes. That tends to help. But like I said, anytime, especially when you beat the Knicks in the Garden and you can like hear their crowd groaning every time he makes a 3 too. It's just the best.
Dude, this is one of my favorite highlights to watch, like this game, because the highlights are so absurd and it's from the jump. That in and out dribble dunk on Achua is like just the beginning. There's the late shot clock against Mikal Bridges on the right wing that's like 30 feet sidestep, like nothing but net. The just complete abusive nature of how he treats the Knicks defense is so unfair. And I really need the Knicks to make the second round. Like, best case scenario, they play a 7-game series and then they make it to the second round. But I really need the Knicks to make the second round, specifically because Tatum just gets shooting practice, and I want him to get, that pull-up 3 warmed up as we move to the conference finals and the finals. Like, this matchup's just too perfect for him and too perfect for the Celtics to not eventuate in the second round. But great choice. That one hurt, and that's where the non-snake draft has really hurt me here, because that was definitely high on my list. And there's still no pick for Jake. Spoonie, you're up.
No, it's you, Jake.
Or is it me?
No, it's you.
Me. Okay. Thank God I'm not in the war room, dude.
I'm just glad I'm not the only one who struggles with just like general drafting formats in draft. Yeah.
Well, there's no computer telling me whose turn it is. It's like, and I just passed up on drafting Baylor Scheinman.
It's harder than it looks, people.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to try and see if I can pull off the perfect draft here. But Bucks, I think it was the second Bucks game of the season, but specifically Tatum, you start the quarter down 4, and Tatum has 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists in the fourth quarter, 5 for 5 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3, literally has the perfect fourth quarter and has one of my favorite passes of the season here. Drew comes over, sets the screen, rolls, left-hand wraparound pass to Holiday, and the Bucks, we were having a tough time kind of slowing them down in the fourth quarter, so we kind of needed all of Tatum's points here, but he was just one of the best fourth quarters I've seen anybody play this season.
Yeah, I mean, just ridiculous. And you'll notice a ton of it. Sorry, Ben, I thought you were going to go, so my bad.
You're good.
a whole lot of him getting Brook Lopez and attacking the big and drop, which he's just an absolute master at. It's why Cat can't guard him. It's why I love this Bucks matchup for us, because we have bigs who can space, and that puts Brook Lopez in like an impossible situation where he's either got to stick to his man and guard the pick and pop, or he's got to try to guard Jason Tatum, which tends to not go very well for old Brook, as we see Tatum sauce him and kick out to Drew Holiday for a little float piece. So yeah, man, like the Bucks are another one of those teams. They kind of have moved down sort of the list of enemies as they've gotten worse and sort of gotten sad. But like they were our primary rival for a few years, and like Tatum has always cooked them, and this year was absolutely no exception.
Yeah, anytime your starting center is on like the top 5 Tatum victim list, like you're gonna have a bad time. When's the last time we played the Bucks? It feels like it's been a long time since we've had the pleasure of watching Jason Tatum absolutely cook Brook Lopez.
Yeah, we had all of the Bucks games like squished into
Like
the first
January?
part of the season.
Yeah, I think we were done by January.
Yeah, so we smoked them 3 or 4 times in a row, and that was kind of it for the season. I will say, if they are the other team I want to make to get into the 6th seed, because for the exact same reason for the Knicks is that Tatum plays really well against them and is able to get his pull-up 3 off, and that's like, let's get that thing tuned up finally for the playoffs here. All right.
No
go ahead,
KP
Spence.
as well. Just looking at the highlights there, I should have said in the previous Knicks game, no KP also. So one of the all-time best chuck it a sickies, where just like preserve yourself for the big games, the big postseason. Take as many games up as you like, KP. It's clearly working on all fronts.
Well, let's slow down on as many games as you want, brother. The playoffs.
Well, until the
5
postseason.
games. Yeah, there we go.
No, we have Luke Cornett. We don't need the laughing
True.
guy.
He's nothing compared to Luke. Okay, so the rest of my picks are just pure vibes picks. They're not like big wins against good teams or anything like that. They're just games I had fun watching. So the next big one for me that I completely I did not get highlights for, so my bad on that. But we beat the
trend.
Bulls. Yeah. Well, I've had highlights this whole time. Man. We beat the Bulls.
Highlights of LeBron.
My favorite player. We beat the Bulls on November 29th, 138-129 in a non-overtime game. So it was an in-season tournament game, obviously huge deal. Tatum 35, 14 and 5 on 12 of 18 shooting. KP's second game back, and he had 21 and 8. It was tied going into the fourth quarter, and we whooped them in the fourth quarter. Pritchard had 29. It was just like an incredibly fun, super high scoring game. You're going to have to trust me that the highlights are really awesome. You should check them out because I don't have them. But it's just like the rest of my games are just kind of like this, like games that are like super fun in just like the way they played out as opposed to kind of what they meant.
Yeah, sometimes like some of those games are just a mid-season against a middling team. You know, better teams like drop those games somewhat frequently, and they can kind of be excused in doing so. And just, you know, especially a team trying to repeat, they could be excused to like not get up for games like that, just like mid-season meh games. And so I think that's another continuation of that championship pedigree, to actually get up for like all possible games. You're ramping up KP. When KP came back, like it might be easy to forget this, but there was some initial difficulty reintegrating him into the offense. And so to get a win in that juncture of the season, I think is pretty important. Oh,
yeah. They did not get up for many games in December and January there for a little while, which was frustrating. But none of us panicked. It was great. Again, another team I would love to see. Chicago, 1 game behind Atlanta right now. I'm not sure if it's on the board. I'm just going to sneak this in here. I'm going to trade up for a moment into the draft board here. But against Chicago Bulls.
Denied.
Say denied. Sorry, not allowed.
I'm hanging up the phone.
43, 15, and 10 against the Bulls on 24 shots, 9 for 15 from 3. Just like complete evisceration. He had that poster on, I want to say, was it Pat Williams, or he cooked Kobe White at the top of the key and then just hammered it over maybe Jalen Smith. And one of like Tatum quietly also had quite a few poster dunk moments this season for the people that don't think that he's athletic.
For sure. All right, let's move on. This is a quick one. We've got to actually get through a few of them quite quickly, I think, to get through what is naturally a massive list, given that we're close to 60 wins and so many of the games have been awesome. This is more of a moment, less of a full game. But this, I believe the date, I've not recorded the date. At some point in the last few months, the Celtics roll into New Orleans and then this happens. Fucking meme is born. Let's see. 118 to 116. I would now like to criticize NBA.com for not putting the dates immediately on the box score. I'll come back to you with the date. But obviously, a meme is born. We get someone in the crowd courtside filming Jason Tatum just like knocking down a mid-range pull-up game winner. You love to see it.
He always hits those. So it was great to see
Yes.
someone finally capture a sideline video of it. Shout out that fan, dude. Like, just the intro to a commercial right there. Hopefully he got paid for that.
Jan 31. Thanks, all.
Jan 31.
Sorry, Spirit.
Nice. Yeah, no, you're good. I thought it was going to be the other buzzer beater that he hit, like the super deep one, but that was against Toronto. It was a pretty sorry franchise themselves. So
as opposed to the Pelicans, a long-standing.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, yeah, they both suck. So no, the Tatum making a game-winning mid-range jumper. You love to see it. It feels like he was 0 for like the 12 of those going into that. So it brought up a little bit of my confidence, was very necessary. And look, man, the Pelicans, great franchise, great team. Anytime you can sneak out a win against them in New Orleans, like it's a massive, good, big moment.
Honestly, both of the Pelicans games were incredibly tight.
Yes.
Like,
Dude.
Yeah, so I think the other one may have even gone to overtime. Maybe if I'm misremembering that.
I think
won
so,
by one.
yeah.
Yeah, and they won. But it was, and CJ McCollum missed like a floater at the buzzer in the mid-tower. That was again in the stretch of not getting up for games. But yeah, two fantastic game winners this season. I mean, the Toronto one was insane as well. I don't have a clip for that one, but that like step back 30 feet. Another fantastic moment in the terrible black and neon green jersey, sadly, but still a great moment nonetheless.
Another ugly game with a good finish. And there are some comparisons to draw in my personal life, but I'll leave it there. But this one was tough. Aside from Tatum's 10 assists as well as 5 turnovers in this one, it was just an ugly game. KP did play in this one against the Pels, but like shooting numbers across the board are dog shit. So let's move on. Yeah. Good moment.
All right. I'm back. Trading back up. So I've got both Wolves games here. If anyone wants to snake one, they're very welcome to. But Wolves at home, I had forgotten about. Pull up here. Jaylen Brown goes on this like insane 5 3-pointers made barrage. Also seeing him jump like that defensively had me being like, man, I really would be nice if his knees work in the playoffs. But he goes 5 for 5 to start on like deep pull-ups. Jason Tatum was looking for him coming off screens, but like he capped it with this. We got a steal on Ant turnover. Tatum knows to find him, and he gets Rudy ISO'd at the top of the key. He goes like between the legs 3 times, step back to the right, and the crowd just goes absolutely nuts. And then essentially reincarnation of me is just like on the screen losing his mind. It was a beautiful game. Anytime you beat the Wolves, coming out of like the Starting 5 documentary where like you had the Ant propaganda, the Michael Jordan shit in the offseason, it was good to see get a get back against the Wolves here.
Yeah, the Wolves have played. We've like sneaky had some really good like fun games against the Wolves. So they always play us tough, and like Ant has become he's careening towards public enemy number 1 once he who shall not be named retires. So like I just find Ant like I find Ant incredibly unlikable. Maybe it's because everyone likes him and I'm a hater. But like he's not a good person, man, and he talks a lot of shit for a dude who has effectively won nothing. Whereas Tatum is the complete opposite. He's won everything and is a really good dude, and like people putting Ant over him just bugs me endlessly. So Tatum kind of putting him in his place, you love to see it. And they're always like pretty damn good games with the Wolves. And JB was like unconscious to open that game.
I'm trading up Celtics at Mini. Jan 2nd, 2025. No KP. No KP again. Yeah, that's what we can do apparently, Spoody. Apologies. But this one, I've got some highlights here. This was like of all of the times this has happened, the quintessential Derek White bailout game. 13 points rather in the fourth. I was going to say 13 whites. 13 points in the fourth quarter. Just like that, the classic Derek White balling in the fourth. Tatum also 33 points, 9 assists, 8 boards, although we did go 6 of 17 from 3. Let's check out the highlights.
A defensive rating of number 7. Not too different from last year, but it feels different. They go inside. Got 9 in the first half. Holiday. Up high and down hard. Holiday looked at the other end to see their number, and then feeds inside to Tatum. Got it! Again.
For the 6th straight game.
For the 6th, thank you.
For the 3rd, 6th straight game, he's had at least 3.
Thieves have 3 timeouts. Timberwolves have 2. Randall hounding White. Shot clock at 2. A 3. Good!
Up on the stat sheet, and then taken away a sure dunk.
Boston on their 53rd three-point try.
Jake shaking his head.
Derek.
Classic Derek White. So clutch. You love to see it. And yeah, just like, I know many have given us some trouble in prior seasons, and everything you said about Anthony Edwards is absolutely correct, Spoonie. So a couple of great wins against Minnesota. Had to trade up, had to get in there.
Yeah, no, great call, great trade up. That one hurts, obviously. But Tatum, like no Jalen either in that game. No Jalen or Kristaps Porzingis on the road. And that was like kind of amidst where a bit of a struggle. And we had that 4-game road trip coming out where it was like Wolves, Rockets, Nuggets, and Thunder. And it was like, can we kind of settle the ship down and get some good teams out here? And you started the trip off perfectly. Tatum had 33, 8, and 9, plus 3 steals on 59% true shooting. And it was a true captain's knock. Like he was dicing them up. He was hitting. He was, the way that he attacks these big men in drop now and doing it against the cats of the world is one thing, but you watch him in a game like this and the way that he's able to abuse Rudy Gobert in that same coverage, who, one of the best, rim protectors, drop defenders in the league. So impressive. Like this was like one of my favorite games of the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, I think you're about to say the same thing as me, so go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say Neemias Queta with a plus 17 just like gave us some really solid, good minutes that we needed because we were pretty thin in the front court. Without me too, buddy. But no, like Neemi, this was like one of the games where, hey, Neemi came in and gave us some solid minutes, man. And like from your 14th man, that's all you need.
I feel like this was one of the dying embers of like the maybe Cater over Cornet sort of divisive fan base argument that lasted a little while and has definitely completely died in the arse in the last few months. But this was one of the last like data points for the pro Neemi crowd in early 2025 there, January the 2nd. So anyway, he's one of the best, 4th, 5th centers in the league. So everyone's a winner in that scenario. Now, before we come back with, I believe, Spoonie's next pick after I traded up to jump in ahead of him there, we're going to get to an ad read with our friends over at Prize Picks, Jake.
All right, Prize Picks time. Playoffs are coming. March Madness is happening right now, so you probably are not going to be able to bet on future Celtics legend Alex Condon or Cooper Flagg after missing a game winner and having one of the biggest chokes in March Madness history. But playoffs are coming. We've got the Western Conference seeds, 3 through 8 or 4 through 8 separated by half a game. So this is the perfect time to be firing up some Prize Picks. Now we've been shuffling between Peyton Pritchard, Porzingis more on points, but it has become clear on who you're supposed to be putting some of that money on as we move into the playoffs. And it's Luke Cornett, the big dog, rebounds more. We're hammering it all the way home. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Shout out Prize Picks, great way to supplement your hoops viewing experience, and shout out to the CLNS Media Network again for presenting this show. Spoonie, over to you with the next pick.
Okay, so we had Derek White, massive against the Wolves. My next game is a dedication to Derek White and Peyton Pritchard. Trailblazers, Celtics in March, 128-118 Celtics. Derek White and Pritchard both dropped 40 pieces. Just a ridiculously fun game against a Blazers team that had been playing really, really well coming into the Garden.
Dude, this was a big game when we were like still figuring out if this Celtics team was as elite as we believed that they were. And no Tatum and no Jalen, is that right in this game? Or am I misremembering that? Yeah. Like, and for both of these guys.
Jalen, no Tatum, sorry.
Jalen, no Tatum.
No KP?
And for the... No way. Yeah, this is his first, second, or third, battle with the plague. It's hard to keep track at this point. But for Peyton and Derek to now, hold the record for be the only teammates in Celtics history to have a 40-40 game, to do it ahead of the Jays, Russell and Kuzi, Bird and Mikhail, like Pierce and Antoine. The fact that Peyton Pritchard and Derek White are the dudes that dropped 40 pieces on a really good Blazers defense. It's one for the archives.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have the box score handy for this one, but just, again, I'm sorry to repeat myself, championship pedigree, like next man up mentality. Anytime any of your especially exciting whites can come off the bench and just kind of like dominate in a role elevated above their regular role, I think is really sort of tantamount with teams that are going to go deep in the playoffs. And you're right, like this was a hot Blazers team at the time that could have easily come in, and caught maybe a sleeping Celtics team off guard, an undermanned Celtics team off guard, and we just had the right guys step up at the right time and get this one done. So this is a great win, Spoony. Good call.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So who's up now?
I feel like it's me, and I feel like
I'm going again. I'm trading up.
Trading up?
Okay. Oh shit! Ding ding ding.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
We've got to get some KP games in there, and for that reason, I'm going to Golden State. I'm going there on the 21st of January, and I'm going there at a time where the Celtics won 125-85.
50. Let him fly. And that's Joe Mazzulla's message as Brown drives, kicks it, nice catch. Porzingis, and another three is good.
On the offensive glass.
Already 3 boards. Jackson Davis coming off a 15-rebound game.
They did that Golden State game. Looney will drive there by Tatum.
Looney is scrapping for every rebound, but he's all alone down there, and Boston secures it. Schroeder passes up a
Plenty of KP like pick and pop to start this one. We saw KP get a couple of rare corner threes as well. And then just so much of the Celtics forcing turnovers and getting out in transition and just dogging the Warriors. This is, I think, one of the like top 3 good vibes games of the season, Spoonie and Jake. And also just like, I guess as a continuation of the vibes claim there, just the contrasting yellow and greens. And maybe it's because I'm an Australian sports fan, but those 2 colors like pop for me. It's a great on-screen visual experience as well. So obviously this game had it all, guys.
That's always special when you can kick the shit out of Golden State Warriors. And like they punked us. Well, they didn't punk us. Like they beat us earlier in the season. Surprise, surprise. No Kristaps Porzingis in that one, I don't think. And to go into Golden State, we've had some pretty sad moments there over the years. Some good times as well, but some very loud and memorable bad times at the same time. I know last season was like we blew an 18-point lead, lost in overtime. So anytime you can go into Golden State and pick up a W is nice. Spoonie, any thoughts on that specific game?
Yeah, I think just like another near triple-double for Tatum, of a season full of near triple-doubles for him. I think this was when like we were kind of worried about Hauser too, and he had a pretty damn nice game against Golden State, but really everybody did because this was an ass whooping. So we got Walshy minutes, which is always a highlight, and early Baylor Shireman minutes, a highlight of things to come.
We should have seen it
5
coming.
Points. Yeah, we had 5 points in complete Garbo time, so we should have.
Beautiful. I'm trading up into my own slot here, I believe. And
Yes.
It's the pick you traded earlier. You traded back for
right. It's loop backing around here. I think I'm actually out of highlights here, but I've got a few to list off. But another KP game, his first game of the season, actually. First game back against the Clippers. Clippers were coming in on a 5-game winning streak, and they've maintained their top 5 defense all season long. And that game kind of just got swept away, but they have been really solid all year and came into TD Garden and we just blew the shit out of them. And it was very like game 1 of the finals reminiscent. We hadn't seen KP in so long. He comes back and we just eviscerate a supposed Western Conference contender. It's just what the Boston Celtics do at this point.
Yeah, man.
Totally.
The Clippers team, like, they looked like such dog shit, but they got Peyton Pritchard pretty hard, 20 points, plus 30 for Pritchard. Kata, another 12 points, plus 29, just dominating.
Okay,
Zubac.
Nimi.
Yeah, 5 of 6, 9 boards, monster game from Kata. This was a really fun one, and the Clippers, I feel like at that time were starting to get a little bit of hype, and then like, oh, maybe they're like a dark horse championship contender. Kawhi comes back, like they really got something rolling, and then they got absolutely stomped, and you really haven't heard much about them as a dark horse since that game.
Yeah, again, another data point for the Nemi lovers out there. It's really like it's so easy to forget like how sort of almost evenly divisive that argument was, and a great game for Nemi there. And yeah, just Peyton Pritchard throwing ropes over the Clippers. You'll love to see it.
Exploding everywhere.
Absolutely, just dashing them out. Is that the right word? Anyway,
The dude has an endless supply.
Splashing, maybe? Yeah, splashing is better. Yeah, it suits his 3-point stroke. Spoonie, you're up.
All right, this is the last one I have highlights for. It was maybe one of the least entertaining wins of the entire season. But I was in the house, so I got to put it on my list. And it is also affectionately known as the Baylor-Shireman game.
Yes.
March 18th against the Nets, missing both Jays because I showed up in Boston and spent hundreds of dollars to be there. But Shireman, 20 points, official coming out party. He flirted with the coming out party with like 15 a week or two before. But this is with a game where everyone was like, ooh, maybe we got something here. Also a monster KP game as well.
Yeah, big KP ramp-up game necessary. I think at this point, we talk about playoff readiness and him ramping back up from whatever version of the plague he had at this point in time. But I recall this as the Spoonie game, knowing that you were there,
Yeah.
and the initial hilarity of the many absences in this game, knowing that you had spent all of that money and traveled all of those miles to get there. But then, like, just the pleasure of seeing that you actually caught kind of a gem of a game. The crowd was, like, noticeably hot in this one. I think the players were calling out that fact after the game as well. And like you're a big like draft board guy, Spoonie. You're a big college scout. So I think like the next big thing from there, the next extension of that as far as it pertains to the league is like evaluating rookies as well. And what better game to evaluate our rookie Baylor Shireman than the Spoonie game here against Brooklyn?
What's the point of paying money to go see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown beat the Brooklyn Nets again? This is really Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown did you a favor here by allowing Baylor Shireman to really put on a show for you. And it's been a tough year I think, we all make mistakes, but between Alex Sarr and Baylor Shireman, I think maybe we could potentially flip those guys on draft boards after this season. So it's good to see Rajon Shireman prove Spoonie wrong in person.
I mean, I'm still on Sarr Island. Shireman, I think, has definitively proved me wrong at this point. And never has that been truer than when I was in person watching him prove me wrong.
Look at that
every
cut.
bucket.
Oh.
I know, beautiful cut.
Feel.
I think he hit
IQ.
like 5 of 6 from 3 in this game. This is the play right here I was waiting for. The end of the quarter, gets it right back, bang.
Barely gets him bound.
The crowd was so loud when that went in, like comparable to the finals. That's how loud it was when that went down. So it was a fun time.
So you walked out of there thinking like this was absolutely worth the trip. I got what I paid for.
Yeah, definitely. I saw some of my buddies I see like twice a year or two. So it was, it was totally worth it. But I kind of would have liked to see one of the Jays play, but that's okay. I've seen that a ton.
Absolutely. All right. Glad to hear it. All right. February 2nd in Philadelphia, the Celtics find themselves down 26 points.
Talking about the Celtics, one of the best teams in the league in offensive and defensive efficiency. And we have not seen it for most of this ball game. White, back-to-back threes. Brown the fadeaway, got the bounce. It's 99-95. 3 for 6 at the line. Boston on a roll. Tatum, cash. Tatum on an island with Yabusele between the leg dribble. Step back three. Boom!
Oh my. Jason Tatum doing it on both ends.
Who had the call in that game? Who does
Dude, he was
boom?
awesome. Dude. Yeah, do you know who that is, Spoonie?
No, I don't. I don't know who that is, but yeah, he was really great.
Just excited about watching basketball. It felt like he knew that the comeback was coming. That halftime was maybe the most upset I've been with the Celtics in the past 2 seasons. I was like, we're in the midst of this fucking skid, and you're down 20 plus to this shit show of a Philadelphia 76ers team. But
Undermanned,
I should have
too.
known. Undermanned. Oh, no one was playing for the Sixers. Like, you had to, just one of those games where you had to be Googling who was coming off the bench for the Sixers. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. But I should have known. Exactly what was coming.
Yeah, you could argue that even when they're manned, they're undermanned in the case of the Sixers. But of course, this was one that the Celtics were going to fall asleep for, Spoonie. But fortunately, they came out in the second half and righted their wrongs.
This is the last one I had on my list. My draft board is officially empty. But this was an awesome Jaylen Brown game too. 21, 10, and 6 for JB. And of course, Tatum, 35, 7, and 11. Just monster games. Everybody was horrible. And then everybody was great. And the fact that I went to the Sixers Reddit after this game, this is the game that broke them. This is the game where they were full on like, we're never going to beat them. It's over. We need to trade Joel Embiid and just rebuild because this era of Sixers basketball is dead. So it was murdered aptly by the Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
I can only imagine the feelings of PTSD as they're watching Jason Tatum shoot daggers into their eyeballs again as they come back in Philadelphia, Game 6, 2023. Like, the amount of pain that this specific person has caused a specific franchise. In such a short career too. I can't, like, I know Donovan Mitchell averages like more points than Michael Jordan against us, but he's never really caused us real actual pain. It's like, who's the guy? It was kind of the Heat and Caleb Martin, maybe it's Steph from the finals, but there's not one team or one franchise of this Jays era that has caused us like consistent playoff and regular season pain year in, year out. I guess that's because the Celtics have been the one winning like 55 or more games and going to the conference finals or finals every year for the past 8 years. That might have something to do with it. But man, to see them have to experience the Jason Tatum thing one more time this season was very enjoyable for me.
Yabu quite good in this game, quietly 8 of 13 from the floor, and a spicy -10, plus/minus 21 points though, not bad for the young Sixer. But we're pretty much out of time. We can't really get to any more highlights. So if you want to know the remaining, actually honorable mentions, I think really quickly we can probably get to. I've got a couple. Anything stand out to you guys that we can get to quickly?
Can I just say real quick on that Sixers game? It ended up not being that close too. Which
too.
It's funny. Yeah. We won by 8. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Jake.
Incredible, dude. They were down 20 late in the third too. It was crazy. Jalen scoring 44 in a monster blowout against the Pacers was fun. The Celtics followed it up with a loss in like that weird baseball series, but fun to watch Jalen go. I think like of the players on the team, like Jalen has the ability to go just in, especially like short stretches as well, just complete scorched earth, hyper efficient. And that was his best game of the season from that perspective. And then Luke Cornett having his career high in rebounds against the Spurs a few weeks ago. That was fun. I've just enjoyed the Luke Cornett experience this second half of the season.
For sure.
Yeah, we had like a absolute drubbing of the Hawks where Pritchard had like 18 kind of early on in the season, but he made 3 threes, but he was 7 of 12, where it was just kind of like, I think Pritchard might be a little different this year. And then we slapped up the Mavericks, which, I mean, Kyrie's on the team, so that always is memorable to me when we destroy a Kyrie Irving-led team.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, those are good ones. Feb 4 against the Cavs, the only other Cavs win, and another great, like, Derek White. Like, we only won because of Derek White. Like, first of all, this was a, like, Celtics defensive win. They held the Cavs to 105 in their own house, but Derek White in the fourth quarter, 4 of 5 from 3, 5 of 6 from the floor. Overall, 14 points in the fourth quarter, while the Jays went a combined 0 for 6. So, like, we do not win this game without Derek White. And, you know, we tied, I believe, the 4-game series with the Cavs this year. Did we play 4 games against them, or was it 3? Either way, this was there we go. Yeah, so this was the only other win we got against the Cavs. To get one in their house, I think, in terms of, like, long-term playoff confidence and, like, maybe rattling them in their own building going forward. Not that we haven't already proven ourselves there in prior years, but again, different Cavs team this year. That was a big one. The only other call out I had in honorable mentions rather was December 2024. It was a loss to the Bulls at home, but this also
on the First to the Floor podcast. Shout out to Australia. And he talked about how Jason Tatum,
currently the lone shout out of this podcast on broadcast television.
To Australia, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. As we continue our battle to get the Australians, the head trainers of the Celtics on this podcast, seems like an impossible feat at this point, but we'll keep trying, guys.
Yeah. I love Spoonie creating his own version of it. Shout out to West Virginia as well to that one.
You.
But yeah, it's that was obviously one of the highlights of the season. I'd almost forgotten about that, so thank you for bringing that back, Ben. Pritchard, I think early in the season had like an 18-point first half against the Bucks, and there's like a clip of Doc Rivers being like, end of the half, maybe it's like stop him, and Pritchard like pulls up in DeLon Wright's face and buries a 3, and then Doc Rivers just has his hands on his knees, like staring at the ground, being like, we talked about this, and yeah, that was awesome too.
Great call. Well, look, this was fun, guys. Anytime you can just sit around with your buddies and folks in the chat and watch Celtics highlights, you're going to have a good time. So thanks, everyone, for joining us. That's going to do it for this one. We'll be back with a few more pods, instant game reactions, Celtics late night shows, Patreon shows, all throughout the week. So please subscribe. Tell your friends. We're ramping up for the playoffs. Spoonie, Jake, love your work, guys. Until next time, go Celts.